Noswaith Tha, I Gwyntog, a very good evening. It is windy, seriously windy in North Wales tonight. Welcome to Match Day Live. Wrexham against Leicester City on a fairly foul night for Championship football. Both of these teams will have the elements to contend with this evening in North Wales. Steady drizzle and high wind, never normally a good combination for flowing football, but we will wait and see whether Wrexham and Leicester can master the conditions tonight. Wrexham, of course, fresh from a setback on Saturday, curtailing an excellent run of 4 straight wins in the league. Leicester also beaten in a local derby with Coventry City, so both will be desperate to bounce back tonight. Tonight is also a special night for Match Day Live, our 50th ever show, and delighted to be accompanied, as I have been for almost all of those, by Andy Morell and Mia Roberts. Lovely to see you both.
Beautiful evening for it.
A lovely evening to enjoy it, isn't it? Yes, the weather gods have really smiled on us. I think our first ever show against Fleetwood, it was absolutely cracking the flags and about 30 Celsius. Not very similar tonight. Good chance, Andy, this evening to get straight back on it for Wrexham. Not at their best on Saturday, but clearly nil disparandum, still second in the form table over the last 5 games in the league, and an opportunity against a team tonight who've lost their last 3 away games. Yeah,
absolutely, and I think it just shows the size of where we've come from, because we weren't at our best on Saturday. Norwich played well, and we were still possibly could have got a point out the back of that game as well. So I think you've got to step back a little bit and understand that we've been on a great run, and we weren't too far away from nicking something out of a game where we weren't great. Yes, it's a brilliant game for me to come back into. Leicester, who were one of the favourites at the start of the season, have got some really good players, spent a lot of money over the years, but this is the one when you're at home, you want to take it to them and prove that you are the good side that we are.
Mia, we were saying clearly there that Leicester were one of the sides that we were anticipating to be challenging towards the top of the table. You were at the King Power earlier this season for the 1-1 draw. What sort of proposition do you think Marty Cifuentes is going to put out tonight?
Yeah, I think they've only made 2 changes from just the narrow defeat at Coventry, where they actually started really well. I think they didn't really come out the block second half on Saturday. But listen, I think they're a sort of difficult team to describe at the moment. They're just lacking any real consistency, very topsy-turvy in their sort of form this season. I think, when we played them at their place, I know it was very early on, I think they were 5th, I think we were 15th. So it sort of shows how things have sort of flipped in terms of obviously Wrexham's favour. But listen, I think they'll be coming here desperate to try and leap on the fact that obviously Norwich got something here on Saturday, and they'll try and utilise that. And like Andy says, they're not where they should be, but they've still got a large amount of quality players in that side.
Yeah, having gone 4 months unbeaten here at the Stoke Kairas, Wrexham won't want to have back-to-back home reverses this evening. Let's have a look at the Wrexham team, because 6 changes from manager Phil Parkinson tonight as he freshens things up. Not many survivors from Saturday. The same back line: Arthur Okonkwo in goal, Max Cleworth, Dom Hyam and Callum Doyle. Then it's Ryan Longman in at right wing back in place of Isa Kabore, who is on the bench. Matty James, fresh from signing his new 1-year contract extension, returns in midfield for George Dobson. Ben Sheaf keeps his place, but the remaining 4 names, well, none of them started on Saturday. Libby Kakachi in for George Thomason at left wing back. Ollie Rathbone comes in for Nathan Broadhead. Lewis O'Brien is in for Josh Windass, and Kiefer Moore is in for Sam Smith. All of those displaced players making their way onto the bench. So significant changes, Andy, not dissimilar to the side that was sent out at Blackburn to good effect just after Christmas.
Yeah, that's right. It's got a lot more energy and a lot more legs in it, and I think that's why he's done it. It's just to freshen it up. We are against a good possession team today, so we're going to need as many legs as we can get. And those two in Rathbone and Lewis O'Brien in the midfield are just going to give us pure energy and go after them a little bit, maybe to try and get the ball back a bit quicker, a bit higher up, so that we can attack from in those positions.
Amir, Sam Smith must count himself a little bit unlucky to be on the bench. Kiefer Moore's record this season clearly speaks for itself, but when you've scored 3 in 3 as a striker, I guess you're going to be a little bit gutted not to be starting.
Oh, 100%. I think he'll be really frustrated. Like you say, he's been on absolute fire in the last few games. I thought even against Forest he was really good. I know he didn't get a goal that night, but I still thought he impressed. I think in those last 3 Championship games he's had a total of 6 shots. 3 of them have ended up in the back of the net, which have been all the 3 that he's managed to hit the target with. So it shows, when he shoots, he tends to sort of find the back of that net. But, at the same time, you've got to show a lot of respect to Kiefer Moore, because I think we're quick to forget just how important he was, when he was in the side pre this sort of Sam Smith sort of revolution that we've seen over the last few weeks. But listen, I think Sam Smith's certainly going to be absolutely dying and desperate to get on that pitch, so I expect him to get an opportunity got later on in this game and hopefully take his opportunity.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll see him at some point, maybe 60 minutes. Kiefer's coming back from a fair few weeks off. Yeah. He got 20 minutes the other day. Can he get 60? And then I think we'll see Isa Kabore and Sam Smith coming on and maybe just trying to inject that little bit of pace into the game.
Yeah, 16-man effort more than likely, isn't it, across the 90 minutes. Well, Phil Parkinson was out a little bit early today to give us his thoughts ahead of today. So let's catch up now with the interview I did with Phil just a few minutes ago. Not the nicest night this evening to contemplate tonight's match against Leicester City. Has that affected your choice of personnel?
Not really. I mean, it is a windy, horrible night here, but yeah, no, we'd thought long and hard about the team, and we wouldn't have changed it if the conditions were different when we arrived tonight.
6 changes from you this evening, so some quite wholesale alterations.
Yeah.
What's behind the thinking there?
Well, first of all, is obviously we're on a bit of a protocol from Man City about his recovery. It's 60, 30 max, 30 tonight-ish, and then it'll be available again at the weekend. And we've got to respect that because he's a lone player and he's been out a long time. So that's that one. Matty comes in, trained a few days since his back injury. Obviously, I said he'd only trained a day before the weekend. I didn't think he was ready. Libby, I feel it's a night for Libby in terms of up against their wide players, freshness in that position as well, and just the freshness of the front 3 really. And I'm looking for the energy of O'Brien and Rathbone closing down, runs in behind, a real dynamic feel to that front 3. Obviously Sam Smith comes out the team very unlucky because he's played well, but it's more about freshness for the night. Broady was cramping up towards the back end of the game at the weekend, and I was going to bring him off, then he kind of got to life again, and I was worried about had he got injured, but he's not. He's all right to be on the bench, but I've also got to be mindful of that. If a player's had cramp and tight hamstring, we've just got to be careful. So, but that's a strong bench if we need to impact it later on.
Having gone 4 months unbeaten here in the league, Phil, suffering that setback on Saturday, what's been your approach psychologically with getting the players ready for tonight?
Yeah, just not going overboard. In periods of the game we played well. I spoke about it after the game to you about the parts of the game we weren't happy with, which we spoke to the lads about yesterday. And yeah, we move on. You're going to lose games of football, and it's a great chance tonight to respond with a performance of more consistency. Like if you describe Saturday, you'd probably say there was patchy periods in the game, individually and collectively. But listen, it wasn't all bad. We probably still deserved something from the game. So we're just ready. Great opportunity against a Leicester team, Premiership last year.
Premiership last year, but they've struggled away from home in recent weeks. Phil, lost their last 3. What sort of challenge are you expecting from them tonight?
Basically, they're a 4-3-3. The wide players, obviously, are the threat, particularly Fatah on the right. They can be very open on the transition, but they've got players who need respecting. But equally, they have give up chances in games this season. So we've looked at, as we always do, both sides of the game. What's the key attacking threats? But with out possession, can we press? Can we be nice and tight and press from a really tight shape and get the ball back off them? Because I think if we do, they leave space to be exploited, and that's what hopefully we'll be doing tonight.
Phil, thanks as ever for joining us on Matchday Live. We'll see you hopefully post-match.
Thank you, cheers.
Wrexham manager Phil Parkinson giving me his thoughts ahead of tonight's game just a few minutes ago. This match, of course, an 8 o'clock UK time kick-off. And you thought it was interesting, Phil's comment about Issa Kabore there, and the fact that Manchester City, clearly the parent club, have had a heavy influence on Phil's options as to how much time he can be given in terms of being picked as a starter.
Yeah, well, this is why I think we've gone for signing players rather than more loans, because you are in complete control of what you have. But in the Championship, it's a little bit different. You've got to get these Premier League players come down and maybe the ones that can push you on. But you have to be flexible with your management of these players. You have to work with these other clubs because they are their player. And if you can get good relationships, it looks like we have with Man City, with Callum Doyle coming in as well, then you can look to, in future, if you treat them right and you go with them and you work with them, your potential of future players coming back will work better for you.
Yeah, you want to get that pipeline, don't you? If you can. So Leicester City, the opposition tonight for Wrexham. If you wind the clock back 10 years to this day, the 20th of January 2016, it's perhaps just worth reflecting on the journey that the two clubs have been on since. Because on this day 10 years ago, Wrexham was sitting mid-table in what is now the National League. It was the conference back then, and there you can see Leicester City on the heels of Arsenal, only off top spot in the Premier League on goal difference, ahead of Manchester City, whereas Wrexham had the likes of Gateshead, Macclesfield Town, now defunct of course, and restarted as a Phoenix club, Woking, Eastleigh and Dover Athletic above us in the National League. When you look at that, Mia, it really is astonishing, isn't it, that Wrexham go into this game 3 places above Leicester in the Championship table.
Yeah, it's just crazy. I think it's a really good sort of example of the sort of journey, if you like, of the last 10 years. I know it's a bit of a trend at the moment, isn't it, looking back at 2016 on all the socials, but I think that's a really good one to get posted out there. And, on the back of that, I think Wrexham were also like four losses on the bounce against Southport twice, Halifax, Woking, these sort of teams. And, we're not long just being off 4 wins on the bounce against, certain teams that we can mention. Blackburn, Sheffield United, Derby, Preston. All these, huge clubs. No disrespect to those in the National League, but it's a massive difference, isn't it? It's a massive jump up, and yeah, I was in year 7 then, struggling to watch Wrexham at times, just wishing, we could get out there. And if someone showed you, that we'd be playing Leicester tonight, I probably would have thought Leicester have had the almightiest of falls, never mind the almightiest of climbs from a Wrexham point of view.
Andy, life is a roller coaster as a football fan. We all know that. Teams go up and down. But I think of all the clubs, being a Leicester City fan must be about as tough as it gets if you're not comfortable with rises and falls.
That was me when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I was a Leicester fan.
Okay.
Watching in 2002, when they're changing grounds and they're nearly going into admin, etc. And then
dropping
into
the League One as is now.
One, then you go in and win the Premier League in 2016. Then now it just seems like it's a club that are fighting fires everywhere. And They're looking at a points deduction possibly behind them. They're looking to try and get players out off the wages because they had players from the Premier League. Yeah, it's just been a mad one to watch from afar, and yeah, hopefully they'll get themselves sorted and get them on some sort of even keel and look to push on. But what they have got is some really good young lads that are looking out of their academy that are good assets for the club and look that they can maybe carry this club forward.
And we'll look at a couple of the key Leicester threats in a short while. But just before we leave 2016, and if we just come back to that for people who are less familiar with the story, Leicester were 5,000 to 1 that season to win the Premier League. Claudio Ranieri masterminded them to the title. You live half an hour or so from Leicester. Can you remember at the time, what was it like, the buzz around the city? Because it was such an unexpected triumph, wasn't it? And they just kept hanging in there, hanging on the coattails of the fancy clubs. Gary Lineker, of course, famously promised to present Match of the Day in his underpants if Leicester hung on and win the league. And he had to do it. What was it like being in the Leicestershire area?
Well, it actually started the year before because they were done and dusted. They were going down, they were getting relegated, and they managed to win 8 or something of the last 10 games and managed to stay in the division, which was incredible from there. But then they just seemed to carry it on, and nobody took them seriously till Christmas. And then they were like, oh, suddenly Leicester are still there, and oh, they're beating Man City, and they're beating Liverpool, and then oh no, they keep going, and Vardy was on his run of goals, and then it was just suddenly everybody, the buzz of place, this could actually happen, this. And no, there was no pressure on him, and Ranieri was brilliant in that time because he just took all the pressure off the lads and said, yeah, we're enjoying it, we're having fun, we're going for pizza as a group, aren't we, and all that. Is it dilly ding, dilly dong, or whatever it was? And it just lifted the whole place up, and how they hung on in there, and then the celebrations of the city. It was just a fantastic achievement, and one of the best, I think, in football.
Outstanding season for Leicester back in 2016, but a very different context, as Andy explains right now, for the Foxes as they try and get themselves involved in the playoff conversations, starting this match in 13th position in the Sky Bet Championship table. Well, shortly after full-time on Saturday, news broke from the club of a departure of a very well-known and popular Wrexham player. James McClean is returning to his hometown club, Derry City, with immediate effect, having agreed his departure by mutual consent from Wrexham. So we wanted just to reflect a little bit on James's impact in his time here at the Stoke Kairas, because over 100 appearances for the club, twice a promotion winner, of course, in League Two and in League One, some memorable goals and some memorable assists along the way. He will be missed, I know, on and off the pitch, Mia. And that goal at Blackpool, of course, was one of the key moments, wasn't it, last Easter, that really set us on that road to automatic promotion, which was achieved a couple of weeks later.
Oh, 100%. You know, I remember that performance in particular from him. I thought he was just absolutely everywhere and just had the tenacity that I think, you know, for me, he sort of epitomised what it was like if a Wrexham fan would have been on the pitch that day and just been chasing everything and gave absolutely everything. And, you know, to me, I think he's probably one of the first big statement signings that was made at this club when you look at the sort of name, what he had behind him in terms of experience. And yeah, I think he certainly, for me, will go down as an absolute legend. Obviously, was part of those back-to-back promotions, and you know, was someone who came with a lot of probably weight on his shoulders and expectance from not only fans here but from across the sort of English game, and managed that really well. And has obviously been a great leader. You know, wore the armband a number of times, and I think he'll definitely be missed by absolutely many people around Wrexham. And yeah, I think what an absolute player and what a character as well.
Yeah, I think it'd have been very easy for him at the end of his career for people just to see it as another couple of year, 2-year payday or whatever, come in and just finishing off his career. But I think him in the changing rooms and the standards he would have set around the place, playing at so many internationals, etc., likes of Paul Mullin, Ollie Palmer, these lads that are looking at him going, wow, he is right at the top and he is pushing every day to be better and fitter. That's what we've got to be like to improve here. And I think that rubbed off on the rest of the group, and he just took us to another level in that League Two, League One season.
We wish James, Erin and his family all the very best then as they return to Derry. He's going to link up with his brother Patrick in the Derry City side, and I'm sure he's got another couple of seasons in mind before he hangs up those boots. So thank you, Jimmy, for your service, and we wish you all the very best. Now tonight, a key matchup will be on the left-hand side of the Wrexham defence. Callum Doyle, who has marshalled that region so well in recent weeks, will have to contend with Abdul Fatawu, the lively Leicester right winger. Let's have a little look at these two in profile now, because Doyle has impressed both defensively and going forward in recent weeks, but Fatawu has already got 5 goals to his name this season. He's very happy to take on his man Mir, but we've seen in Doyle an increasing assurance at the back, haven't we, so far this season? He looks very much an all-round player in the modern style of a centre-back.
Yeah, I think to me, he's got that look of a player who's been at a Premier League academy and has been coached very well, and has that technical ability despite being in a back three or wherever he had previously played it, probably in that back line. And yeah, he's been brilliant. Obviously, we spoke to him after Norwich, and I thought it was a really good interview from him. He's such a young man, but to be very honest and frank about how he felt in the immediate aftermath of the game, that it wasn't good enough, and that's not always easy for players to come out and do that. So I thought that was very impressive. But absolutely, that not only has he been incredibly solid at the back alongside the likes of Dom Hyam and Max Cleworth, but his something I love about his game is that progressive nature, and I think that's something that can only benefit Wrexham, especially with the likes tonight. He's got someone like Kakache next to him. We've seen his relationship with Thomason over the last few weeks as well has looked really good, and yeah, I think he's a really exciting prospect. But tonight he's going to have a test on his hands. Fatawu is a really tricky player, and he's someone that Leicester will look to feed a lot, so it's going to be interesting. He's just got to make sure he's not isolated too many times. He's got to make sure whether it's Ben Sheaf in front of him, obviously Libby Kakache as well, that they're helping him out in those one-on-one duels. And
as Nottingham Forest found out a couple of weeks ago, he can also take a fairly decent penalty. Well, Saturday here was the end of a decent run for Wrexham. Norwich City, struggling at the wrong end of the Championship table, upset the form book, taking home the 3 points. Here's a quick reminder of how that one played out.
And Maatsen feeds it wide. Ali Ahmed again as Cleworth exposed that gap that Andy Morel was talking about, and he finds Jurasek, who scores. Begiban Slimani, lovely side foot finish, but put on a plate by the debutant Ali Ahmed, and from 15 yards he slotted that nicely side footed inside the right post. And Norwich, well, they've shown their threat going forwards, take the lead.
Well, absolutely that. They've been really tidy on the ball in the opening few minutes of this game, and it's really well worked. And it's just becomes quite a simple goal in the end. Ali Ahmed just driving at Cleworth. Kabori's gone forward, so he's got a lot of space to go into, and he just plays a lovely little ball into the feet of Slimani.
Dobson brings Kabore into play. Wrexham starting to stretch Norwich. Cleworth return pass to Kabore is a good one. Kabore now has got his man isolated. Norwich again quickly get back to swarm around the ball. Kabore does well, cuts inside, finds Dobson. First time layoff is nice. Cross, one Cleworth. Smith with the header. Oh, that's a great goal. Sam Smith is on fire. What a lovely move, and Wrexham snappy, moving the ball quickly before Norwich can get close, and Cleworth with a lovely cross in contrast to the one he put in a minute ago. Smith with a perfect glance header in the bottom corner.
Well, Sam Smith, that's 3 in your last 3. What a header that is. It's really well played from Wrexham. They've responded well to conceding. They've got back on the ball, and it's really nice. Again, Max Cleworth stepping on. Kabore cuts inside, so it opens up the space for Cleworth to step in there. And it just falls to him really nicely. Nice ball from Kabore initially. It just allows Cleworth to just put it back in that box. Little touch set.
Corner of the box, he lays it off, ball driven in. Sheaf can't quite take it in his stride to get the shot off. Maatsen was there to break it up. Nice little touch by McClean, very intelligent, and a lovely disguised return pass by Slimani. And this is dangerous. Makama just onside, right channel, drills that, scores. And that is what Makama can do, and that has been coming since the restart. But that was a hell of a break, but straight to the middle of Wrexham at pace.
Well, give him one chance, fails to take it. If you give him another, you're always going to be in trouble. Said how in form he is. That just takes him to 10 in the league this season. And it's a great finish. But I think Wrexham will be really disappointed with it. Again, Norwich on that sort of counter-attack. They work it really well. It's a really nice little bit of footwork from Kenny McClean.
Fisher is back there, so it wasn't a permanent switch at all, just a temporary thing. Sheaf nicely round the corner. Rathbone on the right now. Sets himself, rips it, and great ball. Defender gets there first. Volleyed back in the goal mouth. Oh, is it over the line? No. What a save from Broadhead by Kovacevic. Unbelievable on the stretch after it was kept alive at the far post. Great contact. How the heck Kovacevic stretched and just trapped it under his hand on the line.
A disappointing outcome then on Saturday. Nathan Broadhead going oh so close, 5 minutes from time, denied by a truly world-class save, but no dividend for Wrexham. From the visit of Norwich City, the home side will be hoping for better against Leicester tonight when this one kicks off at 8 o'clock UK time. And the man in the dugout trying to mastermind the demise of Phil Parkinson's side this evening is Spaniard Matty Cifuentes. The former Queen's Park Rangers manager took over at Leicester City in the summer. Not a brilliant record if you look at percentage of wins at QPR for the man who used to coach up in Hammarby in Sweden, but the Leicester City board feeling he was the right man for the job when the seasons swapped around. He came in the summer. Win percentage at the King Power slightly improved from his time at Loftus Road, but sitting at 13th in the table at the moment. Andy, I get the impression, looking at supporter sentiment, there are still some questions being asked from the Leicester faithful about Cifuentes' capabilities.
Yeah, he's not hugely experienced with big name players, if you like, which Leicester have got. And when you're down in this division as well, they are expecting to be in the Premier League. You've got a lot of issues off the field that you've got to deal with. And he's very quiet, but he's very precise with his work and the work he does for the team and the way he wants them to play. They'll be a very possession-based team today. But he's got a lot to deal with off the pitch, and I think this year is probably that. It's just dealing with those, getting those all ironed out, and then maybe having another run at it next season, but hopefully with some of the young lads around it.
Well, a man featuring for Wrexham tonight is Matty James. He returns to the starting 11. Matty, of course, an ex-Leicester City player. He was in and around the Leicester squad when they won the Premier League back in 2016, although injury meant, sadly, he couldn't participate that season. But he knows the setup well at the King Power Stadium. When he was without a club last season.
Matty, congratulations on signing a new contract. What does it mean to you to be extending your stay here at Wrexham?
Thank you very much, first and foremost. But for me, unbelievable. I'm absolutely, kind of buzzing. I'm over the moon. It's just one of them things that when I look back on, certainly, what was it, in around about October time when I first came in, to be now signing another contract at this football club, I'm over the moon and just very appreciative, very thankful. And I think for me, that's kind of one of the things that I want to say is a big thank you to everybody that's been involved in it. The players, the staff, the fans, the support that I've had since the first day I came in here has been absolutely unbelievable. So really pleased and just looking forward to playing more football at this great club.
How would you describe your journey at the football club, going back to that October when you first came in, as you just mentioned?
Yeah, I think when I first came in, it was kind of like a little bit of a kind of get to know me basis, and then I think I proved that I'd done enough in kind of my long off season that I was fit enough to be able to play. I signed a short term contract, which to me I wasn't really fussed about. I just wanted to get in the building, be able to pull on the shirt, and then I knew that if I was given the opportunity that I could prove that I could play certainly at League One level for this club, and to then be promoted, which was kind of for me to be back in the Championship where I'd come from was an unbelievable achievement. But also for this football club, the journey that it'd been on, to have 3 promotions on the spin, to be part of that is kind of I'm really pleased about. And then to be able to be given the opportunity to be involved in every league game this season in the Championship was again to go out there and prove to people, prove the kind of the doubters wrong, and prove people here at this football club right. And that's what's kind of motivated me.
What does Wrexham mean to you now?
It's part of my life. It's part of my family now. It means the absolute world to me in terms of it gave me an opportunity, it gave me a chance, and that's sometimes what you're ever asking for is a chance. And I kind of needed it at the time. I was struggling, probably a little bit mentally because I was so desperate to play. I'd played a lot of games for Bristol City previously, and I couldn't quite understand what was actually happening. So For me, I've said every single time I pull on the shirt, I'm going to give 100% and give as much back as I possibly can. And I feel like I am doing that, and I'm going to continue to do that for the remainder of my contract here at this football club.
Wrexham midfielder Matty James, who has signed a new contract extension, keeping him at the club until the end of the 26-27 season. Great to have Matty signed on. He's been so influential so far this season. Now I'm delighted to be joined on Match Day Live by Academy manager Gus Williams. Gus, fantastic to have you with us this evening. Thank you for braving the rain. Horrible conditions for you to make your first in-person appearance on Match Day Live. We caught up with you via Zoom a few weeks ago. You've had a few months now in your role. What have been some of your early areas for focus?
Well, first of all, it's a pleasure to be here at the Stoke Kairas, and certainly very thankful for the opportunity of becoming the Academy manager of Wrexham Football Club, having coached here 25 years ago. The initial couple of months has been about building relationships, meeting external stakeholders, internal stakeholders, and of course understanding the functioning of the Academy, what it currently looks like, and capturing the people that work in the Academy, capturing their understanding of the vision for the future. Where would they like to see Wrexham Football Academy in the future? That's been a focal point of the last 2 months, really. Building that trust amongst each other, seeing the dynamic of the team, and also understanding that the player base across the Academy age groups, they're about people. So we're not just about developing players, we're about developing people as well. And that's the core aspect of the Academy programme, really.
Now, Gus, we heard quite a bit about the new setup at Darland School a few years ago. We know it's been work in progress. Just remind us of where we're up to now with the development of that as a facility. Is there still more infrastructure to be built, or where are we up to with the whole progression of that as an academy base?
Well, it's an ongoing process, really. The fibre stitch pitch at the top for the 18s is in place. This Easter, we'll be developing the other pitches into a similar fashion as the 18s pitch. So an investment of nearly £2.5 million. So that will enable us to provide a surface for playing football at the highest level. Also, the Academy building will encounter some developments. The area itself will be worked on in terms of the drainage. So all in all, facilitating a better environment, not only for the Academy, but also for Darland School and the local community of Rossett.
And Gus, how does it work in terms of where the Academy connects with the local schools and local clubs to ensure that the best local talent, whether that's in school football or in local junior football, is picked up, identified and ultimately coming through your Academy?
Yeah, there's a couple of provisions in place to identify that local talent, so to speak, and that would start with the foundation programme that the Wrexham Football Club have. So they deliver programmes into schools, into the local community. We've got a team of part-time scouts who will work in the local area, who are looking at players on a regular basis. And again, from a community perspective, for example, I'm going to the community council meeting tomorrow evening. So to develop and grow those relationships.
In Rossett?
In Rossett,
yeah.
In Rossett. We work in conjunction with the food bank in Rossett. So the food bank is next to the Academy. So when we have games on any given Saturday or Sunday, the food bank have our fixture list, and they're able to provide a service to the supporters who come in. As a charitable trust, we look to support them by signposting them, the parents towards the food hub. So there's a lot of things going on that we interact with, and certainly, as I touched on previously, the facility development at Darland is there to be utilised by the school also.
And if we look at the Academy range, Gus, the very end of that Academy journey is the under-18s. They're playing in the FA Youth Cup this Thursday down at Southend, so a long journey for Craig Knight and his players down there. That is a 4th round tie. The team, of course, really shone here a few weeks ago, beating Port Vale 5-1 in the 3rd round. But that looks a tie tomorrow night against Southend, on Thursday night rather, which potentially is winnable, and that could put a path to the 5th round and a possible tie with Aston Villa.
What an exciting opportunity for the players and the staff and there's a huge entourage of Wrexham FC Academy staff going down there to support every individual on the evening. A great ground, Roots Hall, great experience for the boys, and the link between Wrexham and Southend, I'm not too sure anybody's aware, but Al Van Williams, who was the Wrexham manager in 1967-68, he was the Southend manager in 65-67, a fellow Anglesey man like myself.
Wow. Oh, okay, I never knew that.
Yes, indeed, and he obviously moved up to Wrexham, and he brought up the legendary John Neal with him as his assistant.
Wow.
And both were pivotal in starting the youth development programme here in Wrexham, so there is a connection immediately between us. So it'll be an exciting opportunity, big challenge. It's a cup match, anything can happen. So we're prepared, we've been training hard all week. The players are excited, the staff are excited, every bit of detail has been covered, the itinerary set, and we're good to go Thursday morning.
Well, thank you so much, Gus, for coming to join us on Matchday Live. We wish the under-18s every success on Thursday night down at Southend. Sammy Chesworth, the man in form, 18 goals, I think, already this season. So he's one to keep an eye on. If you follow that match, the updates will be available on the Twitter handle Academy_WAFC. And that is Wrexham under-18s in the FA Youth Cup 4th round down at Southend on Thursday night. That match a 7:45 kickoff. Well, as we said at the start of the show today, this is a special Matchday Live because it's our 50th edition. So we thought we'd have a little bit of a reminder of some of the highlights over the last 18 months or so. Noswaith Thar, Borodar, Panaun Thar, and a very good afternoon from the Stoke Kairas. Mia Roberts and Andy Morell, a very good morning to you both. You might notice we're in a different location for Matchday Live. You might hear the thunder above Mia Roberts, Andy Morell and myself, Chris Malabat. It's absolutely teeming down here.
Are the sprinklers on?
I don't know.
We really ruined this for you guys.
Sorry, you're supposed to be talking about football and we came in and ruined it.
On behalf of the club, we've done 10 of these unique grass cubes, and thank you for all your efforts with the club and getting us to where we are now.
Wrexham have been promoted to the Championship for the first time since 1982.
I mean, they've been absolutely fantastic, Wrexham, today. Been fantastic.
You know, it's what dreams are made of, to put this shirt on, never mind be part of where the club's going now.
We spoke to the lads yesterday about the history of the club in the FA Cup and could we make our own bit of history, and we've certainly done that tonight.
Yeah, no, that character they showed in the second half, I think, to dig in, very difficult period.
We have given away over £300 million to date.
But it is really exciting to be back here. First time I've been here in over 2 decades, and wonderful to stand here next to a former teammate and housemate.
Correct.
And I think what's changed, the three of us had a lot more hair back in those days.
Well, I didn't want to say. Thanks very much for joining us on the YouTube channel this afternoon. All of us here at the Stoke Kairas. Good night. Some Matchday Live memories then from the first 50 shows, our 50th one tonight. Andy, if you look back, you've been with me for virtually all of those. Any particular moments that stand out in your happy memories box?
Well, the sun comes out. I know that it's a bit cold at the minute. For me, the best one for me, I got to interview Daz Ferguson, which was one of my first interviews, which was an amazing thing to do. Wickham away for me was the best one. A great game. We needed to win. We had the long break of the medical emergency in the crowd, and then to go and win it, and that away end was just jumping and bouncing at the end, and I just thought that was a brilliant moment to be there and capture.
Mia, for you, what would be a memory that you'd particularly treasure?
Well, every Matchday Live is an absolute blessing and a privilege.
Still be here.
For us too, Mia, for us too.
No, I'm only joking. No, it's probably a toss-up between Charlton and Blackpool, but I thought Blackpool away was a really special one. I think, like you said about the James McClean goal earlier on, it felt like we were right in with those away fans, and then obviously to do Matchday Live, and I think Jimmy was actually the one who came over and spoke to us, wasn't he? And you just felt like things had clicked, and we were going to go on to do something special, which obviously we eventually did, and yeah, it was very good. But like I say, they're all very fun. What about you, Chris?
I think looking back, we saw a short clip of it there when Humphrey joined us after the Crawley match. It was only about our 4th or 5th show, and it was a nice day, and then out of nowhere in injury time, the biggest thunderstorm I can ever remember at a football match started. It tipped it down with rain, and we had to improvise, come in the stand, and Humphrey appeared with his best Mary Poppins umbrella, and we managed just about to stay on air and none of us get electrocuted, which I think was a double win for that particular day. But it's been a lot of fun, and thank you to you both for all your efforts, and looking forward hopefully to the next 50 with you both. So
yeah, hopefully.
Here's hoping. Here is hoping. Well, someone else who has been part of the Matchday Live team in our first 50 shows is Mark Howard, the former Wrexham back-to-back promotion winning goalkeeper. We had Mark on the show earlier this season when Andy was off enjoying himself in South Africa, and as you know, we love to keep in touch with how Mark's getting on at his new club, Salford City. Well, Salford tonight are in FA Cup action. They are facing Swindon Town, Ollie Palmer's new club. And whichever team prevails will have the opportunity of testing themselves against Pep Guardiola's Manchester City in round 4. We'll keep an eye on how that one plays out tonight and ensure we let you know before we go off air tonight who has been successful. But I had the chance to catch up with Mark earlier today, and particularly to ask him what's been behind Salford's recent excellent league form.
Yeah, obviously Saturday was a great result for us in the league. Going down to their patch and obviously getting the win, closing the gap on them. I think we're now level on points with them. So in the league, it was really much take care of business and try and catch them and just give us that opportunity. But yeah, tonight we're concentrating on the cup, and it's an exciting game really, because obviously we know that Man City lie ahead. So both teams will be desperate for it. I think a few of our players are scarred from last year's 8-0 loss to Man City. And I think it's one of them you've got to be very careful when you do play a team like Man City that it doesn't derail your season. I think last year that they didn't have the best turn of form after the 8-0. I think it almost came at a bit of a sacrifice for Salford, and I think you've got to be very careful of that. But I think everyone now is excited at what lies ahead, and obviously we've got to get past Swindon tonight. Yeah, obviously you're always looking ahead. When you've got a glamour tie like that, that's possible. Yeah, it does turn your shoulder a little bit, but yeah, obviously tonight's going to be a tough game. Well, hopefully our pitch plays into the way that we play. We like to get the ball forward, press high, get in the opposition half and put them under pressure, and hopefully that plays into our hands a little bit. And I think it'll be a much different tactic if we do end up playing Man City, though. I don't want to pin it solely on the Christmas do, but yeah, we had a good Christmas party together, and I think that really galvanised the dressing room a lot. I think stuff like that goes unnoticed behind the scenes, but when you get the lads together for 2 days solid, and it's not always just about drinking, it's about spending quality time with each other and building relationships. I think that sort of stuff definitely helps. And then last week we had 3 days training at Carden Park, which was obviously around the corner from Wrexham. And it's all about trying to make sure the squad's together and we've got that cohesion and the new lads are fully integrated. So I think it's been a real key feature doing stuff like that and making sure that we're all on the same page. We have a lot of meetings during the week about our style of play, set pieces, the opposition. And I think all these sort of things just really do add together over time, and it's really starting to pay dividends. Yeah, Matt's a consummate professional, works really hard every day, is constantly trying to improve in goal. And then obviously, like I did with Arthur, the same sort of role where I'm backing him up and telling him how to manage games better, how to change his distribution, how he can adapt his game for different pitches, different conditions. And I think those are the sort of insights that I bring daily to young Ian. Yeah, Matty's been a really good goalkeeper for us this season. He's made some really crucial saves. I think some of the saves that he does make in his 6-yard box are second to none. He's right up there with one of the best in the league, especially if not for his age group. He shows great maturity as well. So it does remind me a lot of Arthur. Obviously, Arthur's got that the physical capabilities that no other goalkeeper I've ever seen does have. So it was just more about lending himself to that. I'm still fully vested in Wrexham. I don't think I'll ever let that go now. I think that is a team that I will have with me and my family will have with me for life. So yeah, I've been staying up to date, and obviously I've been delighted to see Ollie Rathbone back on the score sheet, and obviously Sam Smith of late scoring a few goals. It's good to see some of the lads that have done really well for the club in the last year or two keep going. Yeah, so Scholes is in quite a lot. He's in 2 or 3 times a week, so you do get to have brief chats with him, and he does a lot of the recruitment stuff now, so he's in a lot more now. It's January and the transfer window's open, so yeah, it's always good to just pick his brain every now and then. And yeah, obviously we've met a lot of the other class of '92, Giggsy, Beck, Scholes, Gary Neville. They are about the club, and I think that it's one of them that they try and keep a back seat to it. They're not as much like Rob and Ryan. They're not in the dressing room after every game, and they're not showing that passion and drive of like the love for the club, but they do it in their own way. It's more of a calculated route, I would say, the class of '92, where yes, they're involved with the club, but they don't like to have that front seat. Yeah, no, I've always loved the FA Cup. I've taken some good scalps against Premier League teams, and obviously Man City's one that you would love to try against. Obviously, what they've gone on to do with Pep has obviously changed the football landscape, I think, in England for a long period. So to go and just test your game against them, test your knowledge, and just see what you are really up against. I mean, we all watch them on TV, and we know that the levels that they can play at, just to see where you compare to them. And you just never know in the FA Cup, and that's the beauty of it. Is just it's one of them games. It's a one-off game. You may as well give it everything you've got and just see what happens on the night.
Former Wrexham goalkeeper and Matchday Live contributor Mark Howard giving us his thoughts ahead of Salford's match with Swindon Town tonight in the FA Cup. Andy, you played with Mark in the TST tournament a couple of years ago. It's clear to me that he has no intention of hanging up the gloves anytime soon.
Yeah, handsome human being, isn't he? Bless him.
Annoyingly.
Yeah. When I first met him at TST, straight away I saw a leader, an organiser, because he was always on about what we were doing after the football and what we're doing in between. And it just showed that he was just ready to keep playing. And he looks fit, he looks ready to go, he looks like he's got another year. And when we were even out at TST, he was talking about what he was thinking of doing. And you're long retired, mate. You're very, very long retired, and you'll miss it. Play as long as you can, and keepers can. They can keep going. And he still feels sharp, feels ready, trains hard. And he looks like he's going to go again for another year.
And we're seeing more and more goalkeepers, aren't we, into their 40s, still excelling. Craig Gordon, age 43, still
Absolutely.
making world-class saves for Harder Midlothian very recently. So just over 5 minutes before kick-off, and you can see James McClean on your screens there. McClean getting his opportunity one last time to say farewell to the Wrexham fans and thank you. And of course, they sang their appreciative songs in return. Mia, a lovely moment for McClean to say farewell.
Yeah, really nice. I think, often in football, players don't get that opportunity just because of timing and, everything that follows that. And obviously it's worked quite nicely for him in the sense that obviously Derry, their season doesn't start till February, I don't think, so he's got a bit of time to get settled, obviously, back home. And, it's a perfect sort of story, really. I think 15 years, isn't it, in the English system now, after he came over from Derry to Sunderland. And yeah, I'm so glad he's been able to get that, because he's so appreciated here and will be for a long, long time, and certainly goes out in style. Yeah,
he's certainly been a staple, hasn't he, of the English game since 2011, 15 years, as you say, Mia, since he came to Sunderland. But James McClean will head off to Derry City with everyone's best wishes. Just under 5 minutes to kick off then tonight. The weather is still pretty rancid here in North Wales. It's windy, it's wet, it's pretty grim, but hopefully the football will lift everybody's spirits. And we'd love to see your pictures as to where you're watching tonight's match from, whether that's inside the stadium here, braving the elements, or somewhere perhaps where the weather is better around the world. The QR code is on screen, and if you scan it and take your picture, then you might appear on the fan walls inside the stadium, or perhaps on our Matchday Live virtual fan walls, which will be in operation throughout the first and second half on our holding slate. Mia and Andy, just before I let you go off tonight, how much is the weather going to play a part in the quality of this game, do you think?
Well, without the cop here, the wind is just going straight down one way. So I think it is, don't make mistakes. Be very, very sensible about what you're doing, where you're playing, the areas that we play in. Certainly go and play your football within the right areas, but don't take any risk at all near our goal.
Keep it on the floor tonight, Mia, perhaps?
Yeah, I think so. Just pick your moments, think about it like Andy says. And yeah, I think Leicester are going to look to get on that ball and try and keep hold of possession, but they can certainly get caught on the transition, and Wrexham are very good at that on the counter-attack, so I expect a really entertaining one tonight.
Mia, Andy, thank you very much for now. Mia Roberts and Andy Morrell will be back with me at half-time to pick over the bones of the first half, where we're also going to be joined by a Wrexham legend, Kevin Rooster Russell. Very much a hero here in 2 spells as a player and also as a time assisting Dennis Smith in the dugout. So we look forward to seeing him and hopefully you as well at half-time in around about 50 minutes time. Wrexham squaring up to Leicester City then in their latest Sky Bet Championship tussle. It's a foul night in North Wales, but here's hoping the football is far better. We look forward to your company again at half-time. Bye for now.
Leave it. It's been dodgy before now.
Substitution for Leicester, leaving the field, number 6, Matty James. He's been replaced by number 21, Ricardo Pereira. Mae Pedreira'n swyddog wedi dynodi bydd yna lleaf syml 4 munud ychwanegol. The fourth official has indicated there will be a minimum of 4 minutes. Added time, that's 4 minutes.
Welcome back to the Stoke Kairas half-time here. It's Wrexham 0, Leicester City 0. Not a classic in the opening 45 minutes. We thought before the match that the conditions were going to make life difficult for the players, and that's the way it's proven. Leicester have had the wind with them in the first half. They've struggled to create too many clear-cut opportunities. The best one coming to Bobby De Cordova-Reid 4 minutes before the interval from point-blank range. Arthur Okonkwo made himself big to smother. At the other end, Wrexham also have struggled to create too much. Matty James with a drive from distance was comfortably saved. Lewis O'Brien with an athletic volley was just wide. Max Cleworth pressing forward from the back, also getting himself in a good position just before half-time, saw his shot blocked at the near post. But it's been a match where the conditions have sadly spoilt the best efforts of the players, at least in part. And at the interval, it's a stalemate. Wrexham 0, Leicester City 0. Andy Morrell, Mia Roberts and Kevin Rooster-Russell, former Wrexham forward, have joined us in the Matchday Live studio. First of all, Kevin, lovely to see you, and thank you for joining us today. We're going to have a chat about your time at Wrexham in a while, but what were your reflections on that first half?
I thought it was quite an interesting game, to be fair, tactically. I thought the way Wrexham set up with the box midfield with the back three, I thought it's caused Leicester problems, I'll be honest, in getting little pockets in between the gaps around Skip, who's finding it difficult to pick him up. I think Vestergaard's not sure whether to go in with Rathbone, and the other centre half's not sure to go into O'Brien. So I think they did that well. I just thought they managed to, if you like, narrow Leicester up and be able to switch play and got some good areas, but I just thought the final cross wasn't quite good enough. But I thought they'd be quite pleased with the way they controlled the possession and got in good areas, but just the end product in the final third of the pitch they'd be disappointed with. But Leicester, to be fair, front three, I think they've huffed and puffed it, not really shown much, I'll be honest. They've got good pace in wide areas. I think they can cause you problems, especially on the counter. I think Wrexham are going to have to be careful them and make sure they keep bodies in good areas behind the ball when they're out of possession, when they're attacking. But it's been quite interesting in that area of the pitch, and they've counted out the south a little bit, both teams.
Let's have a look at the half-time statistics on screen to see how they played out in the opening 45 minutes. We'll start with the attacking stats, and we can see there Wrexham edging possession 51% to 49. 5 Wrexham shots to 3 from Leicester City, but just the 1 Wrexham shot on target. That was Matty James's drive from distance. 2 corners for Wrexham, none yet for Leicester City. Mia, it's been difficult, I think, to see who has the advantage. Do you want the wind or do you not want the wind? I mean, one cross from Libby Kakachi late in the half looked like it was going out, and it swirled back in to be quite dangerous. And Leicester, although they've had the wind, have struggled to control the ball as well.
Yeah, well, to be fair, it surprised me how many times Leicester have actually gone for that long ball, because I just think every time it's landed in Arthur Okonkwo's sort of grateful grasp, and so that surprised me. But again, coming up the other end on this side for Wrexham, I think maybe a few too many times Kakache's tried to overhit that ball and go high, when he's actually had more joy with the ones he's actually kept on the floor, on the ground, and which at times obviously Leicester have got their first foot to, but on the second ball that has more often than not dropped to a Wrexham player. Listen, I think Jordan James is a big loss for Leicester in that middle of the park, particularly going forward. Actually, defensively, I'm not sure if that might actually help them, because it gives Oliver Skip another man next to him in Hamza Chowdhury, whereas obviously Jordan James was stepping on and leaving him, like Kev alluded to, quite isolated at times. So, that'll be interesting to see how they sort of approach that in the second half.
Andy, Kevin mentioning a lack of fluency in the final third for Leicester. They come into this match, of course, having lost their last 3 on the road. Do you think they look like a side short of confidence?
I just think it's a bit slow for them. Leicester, when they get the ball back, you think that transition, they've got pace out wide, they'll just go for it 1v1, but they seem to turn back and then keep the ball and move it, and it's just a bit slow for me. I just don't think the game's come alive till that last 5 minutes, when we needed something to get the crowd going a little bit. The save from Arthur got the crowd up. Okoli being a bit annoying going down and stuff, getting the crowd a bit frustrated. And so that's helped Wrexham really in the way that they've then gone and just had a slight half chance at the back end of the half there. So they've just got to get the crowd behind them, give them something to cheer at, and just go for this Leicester team, because I think they're there for the taking.
Well, we said pre-match that Wrexham have got a strong bench today, and we're likely to see a number of those players, I think, quite early in this second half, certainly in the light of the conditions. Let's have a look at the defensive stats for the first half before we give Andy and Mia a breather and have a chance to chat to Kevin Russell about his Wrexham days. Defensively, Leicester winning 3 tackles to 2 and making a few more interceptions, clearances pretty much even Steven. The big statistical difference there, Andy, the aerial duels one, Wrexham 77% to Leicester's 23%.
Yeah, well, when I think the ball's being played longer, Wrexham could play that in the first half because it was holding up so much. And so once we played it, he could put it over the top and put too much on it, really, and it would hold up in the play and enable Kiefer to then go and wrestle for the ball, if you like. This half's going to be completely different. If we're going to play any ball forward, it's got to be a diagonal in some shape or form and hope that we can get either Kiefer around it or the wing backs up that high.
In the light of the conditions, Mia, could this be the first time we see Moore and Smith together, do you think?
Possibly. I'd be quite surprised. I think, obviously we're still getting more back from injury, and obviously Sam Smith is in such form. I think Phil Parkinson now has much more faith in him maybe than he did at the start of the season when he was only coming on for 2 or 3 minutes really towards the end of games. So, I fully expect to see him. I fully expect to see Nathan Broadhead and Josh Windass as well, of course, also on the bench.
Mia, Andy, thank you for now. Kevin, you can stay, and if you can just give
Do you
Kevin
want the brolly,
trolley,
Kev?
you can
Do your hair?
nice and dry.
No, I think my hair be all right.
Oh, he's relaxed without a brolly.
I've had a few jobs in my time, but brolly older for Kev Russell. Not one of them I have.
Right up there.
One to add to
I've got a swim
the
cap
CV.
on anyway, so I'll be all right.
Thank you very much,
He's all right in his
Andy. Thank
Delboy
you,
coat
Mia,
anyway.
for now. Kevin, great to see you back here at the Stoke Car Rush. You had 2 spells, of course, as a player at the club. First arriving in '87 with Dixie McNeil bringing you in, then returning with Brian Flynn in '95. When you look back at those 2 spells, which of the 2, and obviously your spell as assistant to Dennis Smith, stands out the most for you in terms of fond memory?
Yeah, they were. To be fair, I had an unbelievable time at the football club. It's a club that holds dear in my heart. I've really broke through here as a footballer. If that makes sense, obviously I made my debut at Portsmouth, but I had a lot of success in the first spell here. Obviously, Dixie was brilliant for me as a player. Changed me from a wide player and a midfield player to a centre forward, really. And obviously, we had a lot of success. We got to the playoffs. Unlucky not to go up
against Leighton Orient. Wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And then the second spell was completely different. We were a well-established first division club. We had some really good players. We were always in contention to go up. And it was, a real fun time to be at the football club. The football club had gone in a different direction. So, yeah, but the second time I played in a number of positions. I played a lot of my time in midfield. The second time I was here, and wide. So that was another string to my bow, really, because I played a number of positions. And then at the end of that, obviously, it was the start of my coaching career. Obviously, I worked with Dennis when the club was really in dire straits. If you look at it now to what it is now,
yeah.
The entity is now, a financial juggernaut, if you like, of this division even. It was nothing like that. We literally went out of business. So to be able to learn my ropes under Dennis as a coach, and an experienced manager, and go through the trauma of being, in administration, literally out of business, it helped me in a number of ways of learning the trade as a coach, really.
Yeah, incredible, because that spell you talk of ran about 2005 when, of course, we won the LDV Vans Trophy against Southend at the Millennium Stadium. Was the same season with the points deduction and administration hanging over the club. And looking back from where we are now, it's astonishing almost to look back at those days.
Well, we were just speaking about that earlier. Up until we got the points, we were the first team ever to get 12 points, to be fair. I think we were just below the playoffs, in the playoffs. We had a really good team. Obviously, we lost people. Dennis went, Lee Trundle went, Carlos went. So it was really difficult back end of that season. But the biggest thing for me was the LDV, really, the final. We had a poor season and what went on around the pitch. But to win that, at the time, financially, that probably kept the club in business. I'll go as far to say that. If that wouldn't have happened, I dread to think what happened. We could have easily gone out of business.
And looking back at another cup run, the 96-97 cup run, Kevin, we're going to have a look on the screen now at your famous goal against West Ham United in that third round replay. A journey that took Wrexham all the way to the quarter-finals. We had Deryn Brace with us on the show last week, but you've scored some great goals in your career from many clubs, Burnley, Portsmouth, Stoke City, the list goes on. Leicester City, of course, who you left Wrexham for in your first spell. But where does that goal at Upton Park rank?
Well, it's definitely up there. You know, to be fair, we went down on the Tuesday and the game was called off, and I was struggling actually. I probably wouldn't have been involved. No, I'd had a ligament damage in my right knee. So anyway, obviously the Saturday I was on the bench, managed to come on second half of the game, and to score that late on, and you know, in the significance of the game as well, and it come to me on my left foot. It was a lovely shot. As soon as I hit it, I knew it was in. And then the celebrations afterwards and the run we went on that season, you know, we just missed out on the playoffs as well. Probably if we wouldn't have had that cut run, we might have gotten the playoffs, because we obviously were stretching the games. It was a long season, but you know, it was a great time to be at the football club. It was a really good year.
And now you look back on your time, you're heavily into the world of coaching. You spent some time with Darren Ferguson, of course, at Peterborough, some time at Stoke. As you move into the world of coaching and continue to work in coaching, Kevin, what are some of the aspects of both Brian Flynn and Dixie's management that you've taken with you?
Well, I think you pick punches off every manager you've worked under. I think that's the art of it. You know, there's always things that you like about a manager, there's things you don't like about the manager. But you always try and, you know, pick up all their good points that they've had. Every manager you play under, no, they have good points and bad points, but it's about trying to learn as much as you get. The one thing about football, you learn something every single day, and you've got to, you know, you've got to make sure that you learn every day. You're never going to know everything about football, that's for sure.
Well, Kevin, thank you so much for coming to join us on Matchday Live and braving this horrible night. It's lovely to see you back at the racecourse. We look forward to seeing you back in the game soon, and it's great to have you now as part of the wider media world in football. So come and see us again.
Thank you.
Kevin Russell, former Wrexham striker, 2 spells at the club and then a time as assistant manager to Dennis Smith, joining us on Matchday Live this evening. While the players are out behind me, as you can see, Wrexham trying to see if they can unlock this Leicester City defence in the second half. All square at the interval then. Wrexham 0, Leicester City 0. Please come back to join us in about 50 minutes time, when we'll have all the full-time analysis and reaction and see if either side can find a winner in wet Wales. We look forward to your company back here then. Bye for now.
working, my headset's not working. 2 seconds. Yeah, I can. Just let me put my headset back in. Headset won't work. 2 seconds. 2 seconds.
Substitution for Leicester, leaving the field, number 22, Oliver Skip. He's being replaced by number 25, Louis Page. Substitution for Wrexham, leaving the field, number 20, Ollie Rathbone. He replaced by number 14, George Thomason. And leaving the field, number 47, Ryan Longman. He's been replaced by number 12, Issa Kabore. Substitution for Leicester, leaving the field, number 14, Bobby de Cordova-Reid. He's been replaced by number 28, Jeremy Longman. goal scorer for Leicester, number 23, Yannick Vestergaard. The fourth officials indicated there will be a minimum of 5 minutes added time.
Please actually spell it.
gyd am eich cefnogaeth arbennig heno. Thank you all for your fantastic support. Maent y dorf heno ar y Stoke Kairas, 10,609. The official attendance of the Stoke Kairas, 10,609. A grateful thanks to the 1,284 away fans. We hope you have a safe journey home. Bydd ei hyn nesaf yn y Stoke Kairas ar y 7th o Chwefror yn erbyn Millwall gyda kick from Southampton o'r gloch. And the mind of the next home game here at the Stoke Kairas is on February 7th when Millwall are visitors for our Sky Bet Championship match, which kicks off at 3 p.m. Cymer y gorau o y stadiwm gan y Managerial nesaf a greu i bawb. A safe journey home to all supporters, please do take care when leaving the stadium. We'll see you again on Saturday the 7th. Not like that.
Full time here at the Stoke Kairas. It's finished Wrexham 1, Leicester City 1. The Red Dragons denied right at the death. Yannick Vestergaard's neat finish in the 90th minute, bringing parity to matters. It looked like Wrexham were going to get back on that winning run again. Lewis O'Brien, the quickest to react midway through the second half when Kiefer Moore was denied by Jacob Stolacek. But Wrexham just couldn't hold out. They'd restricted Leicester to so few chances, but Vestergaard's neat control and finish beyond Arthur Okonkwo from a late free kick denied the home side all 3 points. Kiefer Moore still had time to flash a glancing header past the far post, but it was honours even in the end. Wrexham missing out on the chance to move up to 7th in the table and only sit outside the playoff places on goal difference. They will have to be content with a point and 9th position after tonight's game. As this one finishes in the wet, 1 each. Mia, how did you see things?
I mean, you know, just really frustrating, I think, for Wrexham. I thought they were brilliant in that second half, absolutely flew out the blocks, and it's a moment where I think they've just switched off. I think the free kick, in my opinion, I think it's a little bit soft as well. Having a quick watch of it back then, walking down, and yeah, they've done it quickly. They've a little roll out into IU, and maybe that's caught Wrexham a little bit cold. I think they were maybe just expecting the initial sort of diagonal or long ball, and then Okoli wins the little flick on, like you say, and then it is really tidy and neat from Vestergaard. But from a Wrexham point of view, they'll be so disappointed with that, because you know the 3 points was there. It really was, and I know they almost go up the other end with Kakachi and Kiefer Moore getting that header coming close to you know, I'm sure that this place would have gone absolutely mental. But yeah, a really frustrating one, you know, against the side that don't make too many chances, but when they do, they take them. And Leicester have done that again tonight. And again, it's the same old story of if you give a championship level team that sort of opportunity, they're going to take it and they're going to punish you.
Opposition goals, Andy, in the 90 plus minutes in the Parkinson era are few and far between, aren't they? I'm struggling to think of a game where an important opposition goal, rather than a consolation perhaps, has been scored in added time, but that's a bit unlike Wrexham to concede at the end, and I guess that dressing room might feel a bit flat.
Yeah, it's disappointing, because for me, I thought Leicester were really, really poor. Like, they didn't try, they didn't look like there were any effort to the team. And Wrexham were right on them in that second half, really front foot, going to press them. They couldn't play out. We were getting the ball high up, high energy second half, which was really good from Wrexham. But to get that equaliser right at the last minute, I think that's disappointing because of the opposition we were against. And it hurts me to say that Leicester were poor, but I thought they were miles off it tonight.
Yeah, Wrexham will see this perhaps as a chance missed this evening, finishing 1-1 in this game. We've got a chance to bring Humphrey Carr into the studio to join our post-match analysis here. It's great to have the community director back on site again. Humphrey, hello, good to see you. Thanks for stepping in from a few weeks treading the boards in Birmingham with Sherlock Holmes.
Yes.
How's it been?
Yes. Good. I've shaved my sideboards off that I've had for 4 months to look a bit more like a normal human being. But yeah, good. It's great to be back. I mean, this year is probably the year I've attended the least number of games, which I feel very guilty for. I was here for Coventry, which is obviously amazing, and then tonight looked to be going a very satisfactory way, and then unfortunately undone with a bit of bad luck at the end.
We were just saying, Humphrey, how rare it is for Wrexham to concede significant late goals, perhaps the odd consolation, but it's not really been something we've been used to over the last 4 seasons.
No, and that's, I think the way I feel this evening is just is to remind myself how incredibly fortunate we've been for 4 years to sort of see so many of those significant late game goals going our way and sending everybody off into the night happy. And obviously it's bitterly disappointing, and I know that Phil and the boys will be hurting inside, but I try in these moments to try and have that perspective of I've been here for a few late equalisers from teams with much less illustrious histories than Leicester, with much less recent Premier League experience. You look out onto that pitch and there are internationals all over the place. To give the performance we've done and to come so close is very creditable. But of course, football's a results game, and we are bitterly disappointed to lose 2 points at the end.
I think it's around about a year, Humphrey, since you last joined us on Matchday Live. It was the game against Crawley, and not dissimilar weather at the time when we were jumping around trying to avoid electrocution. In fact, Andy Meir and I were reminiscing about it tonight because it's our 50th ever Matchday Live this evening. So it seemed apposite that the heavens would open again when you're back in town.
Just for you.
What I'm sensing is that the rest of the club just send me out when it's horrible weather.
Possibly.
Yeah.
A man for all seasons, perhaps.
Sure, I'll take that, yes.
But when you reflect yourself, Humphrey, because you were one of the first men in through the door when Rob and Ryan obviously took control of the club, and you walked in and you saw what you'd inherited in terms of infrastructure and what needed to be done. As you stand back and look, actually, there's a lot of Wrexham fans disappointed to be walking out of this stadium tonight having not beaten a team who won the Premier League a decade ago. It must be a bit of a pinch me moment, surely.
It's a perfect encapsulation of everything that we collectively have achieved, and I include all of you guys in that, because everybody who works for the club, behind the scenes, in front of the camera, behind the camera, on the pitch, off the pitch, has given their all for whatever it is, nearly 5 years now since the takeover went through. And yeah, as you say, I mean, Crawley was when I was last here, but I remember coming here. I was telling you, I've got a couple of friends in tonight that they were asking me what my first game here was, and I couldn't tell you who it was, but I can tell you it was behind closed doors. It was, I think we drew 1-1. I seem to remember. It was a markedly different experience to what we're doing now. I know my first game was going away to Weymouth, where we won, I think, 3-2 with a late Reece Hall-Johnson cross that went in the goal. It's definitely not a shot, but none of us cared. Exactly. So, that's the thing, is to have gone to the King Power Stadium and got a point there, to get a point here, it is a mark of how far we've come. And of course, our ambitions for this season have grown over the course of the season. I think the performance that we've seen has allowed us to dare to dream, and obviously disappointing result on Saturday. Tonight, what is by any other marker a very good result, is disappointing because we were so close to getting all three. But it's I think it remains a good time to be a Wrexham fan as I classify myself. So, not too many complaints.
And your role now at the club is community director.
Yes.
Just give us a bit of focus, Humphrey, on what some of your areas of current expertise are around.
Yes, so I'm community director and also chair of the board of trustees of the Wrexham AFC Foundation, which is our kind of charitable arm. And what that means is that in reality is what we're doing is I think we are the kind of cutting edge of the interface between the club and the community. So we oversee a variety of different activities, both around the stadium, around the team, but also around the local community. That ranges from, we have a number of programs, Street Dragons, which is one that we run that is kind of, helping to get kids in Wrexham that perhaps don't have an opportunity to play football and don't get a lot of exercise and don't get a lot of opportunities to play in a safe and fun environment. We have had Fit Dragons over the years. That's helping to get residents of the area and fans of the team into better shape. But we also go out and we do a lot of educational programs. We run our mixed ability sessions. We run our wheelchair football team. So there's a whole array of things that go on that is built off the back of all the success we have here on the pitch and the renewed interest in the club and in the area. And it's a fantastic thing to be part of, because ultimately football clubs are so much about community, the fan base and then the wider community of Wrexham as well, and everything we can do to help people in this town, but also to more closely knit us into the community is a great thing.
And now that your run of Sherlock Holmes in Birmingham has come to an end, I believe that's right.
I should have come on before so I could have sold a few tickets.
A few more tickets. But now that's done and dusted. Is that going to give you a few more chances to come and see a few more games this year?
I'm really excited about that. I've got another job that starts on Monday, which is a writing job on a TV show, which is brilliant, but it's much better hours for coming to watch football. So I don't have to do 2 shows on a Saturday. Not to start off with, at least. So I will be around a lot more, which I'm excited about.
That's good. And are the running spikes in the bin?
They are. I mean, I shredded them. I know I shouldn't say this on the television, but someone outside was like, "Oh, they spotted me having a cigarette." And they're like, "What? You're back on the cigarettes? I thought you stopped for the marathon." I was afraid it's about 20 minutes before I started again. After I finished the marathon, I hobbled into a Tesco Metro and 1 lighter and a packet of cigarettes, please.
I'm sure Mo Farah did the same after.
I'm sure, and of course, kids, if you're watching, do not smoke. It's terrible. It's bad for you. If you want a grisly physique like mine, then do that. I have the body of a 75-year-old man, despite only being 43.
But you still completed a marathon.
I still did a
Humphrey,
marathon.
Full respect to you for that.
Thank
something
you.
I've never done or would never do. So,
and you're a very sensible man. I've always said you're a man of wisdom and taste.
Not sure about that. Maybe just a coward. But Humphrey, thanks so much for joining us this evening. Thanks for popping in. Great to see you back at the racecourse, and we look forward to seeing you again this season.
See you soon.
Thank you very much. Humphrey Carr, Wrexham Community Director, popping in to join us very kindly after Wrexham's 1-1 draw with Leicester City this evening. Manager Phil Parkinson, I can see, is on his way down to see us as well. And after we've chatted to Phil, we will reflect on tonight's matches across the Championship and where it leaves Wrexham. Just a quick note on Salford City. We were talking about Mark Howard pre-show tonight. I'm delighted to tell you that Salford have beaten Swindon Town by 3-2 in the FA Cup third round. So they will be heading to Manchester City to face up to Pep Guardiola and his charges in round 4. So well done to Mark Howard.
Yes, good.
Hard lines to Ollie Palmer, who scored tonight for Swindon in that defeat to Salford. But Salford, having beaten Swindon 3-2 in the league on Saturday, have beaten them by the same margin at the Peninsula Stadium tonight. So that'll be a fun day out. Salford played Manchester City in the Cup last year and got beaten 8-0. So some room for improvement, you would hope, in that game. But should be a good day out for Chomp and Co.
Absolutely,
there,
he'd love that. I don't know if he played tonight. If
he didn't. He was on
the bench. Okay. But again, what a great game to look forward to for them. And they are in a real momentum, aren't they, in the league, and looking forward to getting in that top few spots and pushing for the promotion, aren't they? I did go to watch Humphrey, by the way, in his Sherlock Holmes, yes. So
tell us all.
I took it. I went to an afternoon show because I coach in the evening, so it was a bit strange because it's with the kids and OAPs, and I was a bit out of. Yeah, felt right.
Fitting in nicely.
Yeah, and very good, very funny. Obviously, Humphrey is amazing in it, and he wrote
Holmes
it.
himself.
Yeah, absolutely,
wrote it and appeared
great
as
story,
Sherlock.
great, and just good fun. Bit different, something a bit different in the afternoon.
Excellent. Good to see Humphrey on his home patch. I can see Phil's coming in as the Leicester City lads warm down behind us. Phil, thanks for coming to join us on Match Day Live. Give us your reflections on that one.
Well, listen, the lads have done everything we've asked of them tonight in difficult conditions. First half against the wind, and it was really difficult out there. I thought we managed the game pretty well, and then second half I thought we were in complete control really of the game, and the pressing was what we hoped it would be with O'Brien and Rathbone in those 10 positions, and we got the goal, and it was as comfortable as you could feel in the game really. And then one moment where the ball's caught up in the wind a bit and it just held up, and the lads timed it and we just hadn't reacted, and it was almost, well, it was a stunned silence when it went in, and as you can imagine the dressing room's a very quiet place.
I guess, Phil, it's the kind of game where to any certain extent can you train for conditions like this, because you say when the ball holds up in the air and you're trying to predict where it's going to go, it must be difficult for the players to anticipate.
Yeah, and I think we did it pretty well throughout the game really. I thought we handled the conditions really well, and just one moment's costly. If you take that moment away, I'd be in the dressing room saying, lads, listen, you've done brilliant tonight. We've handled their key players so well. But I'm not saying that because we haven't headed the ball out of our box. Now, you know, they're up against two giants in terms of their two centre halves have come up, and the first contact, but we don't win the first one, we've got to react to the second one, we know that. But listen, I'm sure tomorrow morning I'll reflect on it a lot more positively, because there's some really good performances for tonight. Lewis O'Brien, Kakachi, to name just two.
Yeah, and they're two of the changes that you've made tonight, Phil, having made those 6 alterations. You must feel pleased that, having been relatively risky perhaps, in some people's eyes at least, in making so many changes, that you've come so near to pulling off a win against one of the teams who pre-season were fancied to be top 6.
Yeah, let's not forget they were a Premier League team last year. Yeah, I mean, the changes were made for freshness, but also because we wanted the energy of the press at the top of the pitch against the way Leicester set up and play. And I thought O'Brien and Rathbone did that so well, particularly in the second half when we'd kind of pinned them in, and the pressing was really good, exactly what we wanted, and the amount of times those two, upset them with the speed of the press. So what we set out to do and what our feeling, how the game would pan out, had worked.
And great to see Kiefer coming full 1995 post-injury.
Yeah, I mean, let's say it wasn't a serious injury, but it's good to have him back. And I thought he worked hard for the team.
Phil, thanks for coming to join us. Hardlines tonight. All the best for QPR on Saturday. Phil Parkinson, Wrexham manager, clearly disappointed that they couldn't just deal with that one final ball into the box tonight. Mia, looking at the XG, which I know is only ever a guide in football. I think Leicester's XG for this evening was 0.39. Wrexham's was significantly over 1, and the feel of the game plus the data gives us a clear message that says, Wrexham will be the more disappointed dressing room clearly tonight.
Yeah, 100%. I think, that sort of conversation on XG, some people are having it, some people absolutely are not. But that was something I looked at before the game. And I think in terms of their XG throughout the season, I think Leicester are about 18th. I said to Andy about their shots on target per game. I think they're about 22nd. I think they're one of the lowest in terms of, how many these sort of chances they're getting in games. But then, they're taking these chances. And this is the really impressive thing about this side at the moment. And that's why, that's how you can tell they've got quality players, especially further forward up the top of the pitch. And as you can hear from Phil there, and as he says, it was exactly that. As soon as that ball hit the back of the net from Vestergaard, this place it was silent, wasn't it? And it sort of had the feel of, people just didn't know what to sort of do or say. And I totally agree with him, though. I thought, particularly in that second half, I thought Wrexham were brilliant and completely nullified Leicester. I think even in the first half, they did that really well. Just didn't allow, I spoke about those Leicester wide players in Fatoua and Mavididi, and they was completely silenced. I think it was only a couple of times that Fatoua actually beat Doyle, maybe when he did actually isolate him. But apart from that, Wrexham doubled up really well. They were so organised in their shape. And, it's just one of them that I'm sure they'll look back on and just be so frustrated that it has just been that one moment that's cost them, an additional 2 points.
Yeah, I can only really think, Mia, of one chance in the second half when Mavididi had an opportunity coming in from the left, which Arthur saved. That was really it, wasn't it, apart from Vestergaard right at the end?
Yeah, I think there was the one in the first half as well where he's made the big save, but
in the first, but in the second, I thought Wrexham's control was there right through, wasn't it?
And it was that intensity right from the sort of start of that second half, and we saw similar, didn't we, on Saturday at Norwich? Kabore had a few early on in that second half, and then we obviously had the stoppage, and then they couldn't quite get into their rhythm again. But they've got to take that as a positive, and they've got to see that as a really good performance performance, I think, and hopefully take that into QPR. And I think the other thing to also note is obviously the fact we didn't see the likes of Sam Smith, Nathan Broadhead, Josh Windass. They've all been rested. George Dobson as well. So, you probably expect more changes to come on Saturday and that team to be, again, fresh, ready to go.
I think if you strip it back again and we look at the game, we've made a team full of multi-million-pound players who are expected to go through this league and just smash it again. Look very ordinary.
You checked your
very
shoulder
ordinary.
then, didn't you?
I did, because I couldn't hear nobody other than them warming down can hear me.
Yeah, Leicester warming down pretty closely to where we're doing this show.
But, I thought we were very good that second half. Like Phil said, one lapse in concentration where we didn't quite set up quick enough to hold your line. Somebody's there going, no, we win this header because it wins us the game. And then the first one, we missed the first one, you got to react to the second one. We didn't do that, and it's in the back of your net, and you're like, how has that happened? We just don't know how that happens. And it's an air of shock, isn't there, to the ground when it went in. And it's a frustration, but like Phil said, you take that away, and we were excellent in that second half, and that's the positive you have to take.
Yeah, it's always the danger, isn't it, when you've only got a one-goal advantage. Libby Kakachi, Andy, again, impressing today, particularly in the second half. He really does look an asset. And if we look at an area of the pitch where Wrexham have got an embarrassment of riches with Thomason's form over the Christmas games and now Kakachi back, that's a real weapon in terms of a part of the pitch where Wrexham can hurt teams.
Yeah, he certainly looks like he's getting up to speed. I don't think the Leicester players have helped their fullbacks at all. Fatawa just leaving him go and letting them go 2v1. So he's just played constantly down that line, but you've got to be able to go and go again and go again, and that's what Kakachi did. Not playing on Saturday has helped him. He's just come into the team fresh and he can just go. And I thought that second half, his quality was a lot better than the first half. He got his crosses in the right areas. He caused a lot of problems with his play, and he looks a real asset for us.
I think you mentioned it as well during the first half about him actually going further and allowing Doyle to shuffle across and take the winger out wide, and he certainly did that in the second half.
Because if we get it back, he's higher up the pitch
exactly
then, and he gets more problems for the wingers.
Let's have a review of the final stats of tonight's game, looking at both the attacking and defensive statistics over the 90 minutes. We'll start as ever with the attacking stats, and Leicester actually shading the possession over the 90, but look at those shots. 16 for Wrexham, just 5 for Leicester City. The XG clearly heavily painted by that statistic. 3 corners to 1 as well in Wrexham's favour. Let's have a look at the defensive statistics. Sadly, the key statistic from a Wrexham perspective was that Leicester were able to find the back of the net on one occasion. They might not have had too many chances, but in the end they took the really golden one that came to them with some aplomb. More interceptions by the Leicester defence. The clearances changed around a bit in the second half. At half-time, Wrexham had made many more of those, but it was pretty even Steven by the end. And aerial duels, Wrexham coming out on top, 59 to 45, which by my math doesn't add up to 100, but hey, I don't work for the stats people. I think all in all, though, Mia, those stats generally shake down to it being a game that's how we've seen it, really, which is that Wrexham having the better of it, but showing that, as ever in football, if you just get your one chance and you can score it, you can get something out of a game.
Yeah, I think so. And I just wanted to touch on those shots from Leicester, because I saw a stat from Saturday that said Norwich only had 7 shots on the Wrexham goal. And I think that's the first time in about 15 or 16 games where Wrexham have let off fewer than 10 shots on their goal. And again, they've done that tonight, so it's showing they're getting that defensive solidity up. They're getting blocks in and not allowing as many shots as they have done on Arthur Okonkwo's goal. And they still are the most shots let off, or the most shots conceded, I should say,
on our goal.
In the
over
Championship.
400 we've had on our goal in the games we've played. We're
406 or something
23rd in the league, I think. Yeah.
Only Charlton, I think, has a couple more. It's only marginal. It might have changed again tonight, but again, it shows that that defensive back line is improving week on week. But again, it's that frustration, isn't it? Come back to it. That one moment is all it takes. It doesn't matter if they have 15 shots or 2. If one of them finds the back of the net, that's all that matters.
Wrexham, of course, are on their travels this Saturday, making the trip to West London, to Loftus Road, to face Queen's Park Rangers, another club who have a significant pedigree in the very top echelons of the English game, many years in the First Division and then the Premier League, although in more recent times they've struggled to get back to their former heights. But that is a super little stadium in West London, super tight to the pitch, the 4 stands there, so that'll be another good day out for the Wrexham faithful. and hopefully another opportunity for Wrexham to bank 3 points on the road. The away form really improving in the last few weeks, so here's hoping for more points on the road on Saturday. Don't forget, of course, the Wrexham women are in action again on Sunday, up against the same opposition as last Sunday. Many of you will know that Britain Ferry were comfortably beaten in the semi-finals of the Adran Trophy with a hat-trick for Faye Knox, and Britain Ferry make the long schlep up from South Wales again this Sunday. It's a 5:10 kickoff at the Rock. We're back to Adran Premier action this Sunday, so if you're in the local area, why not head down to the Rock to support Jenny Sugarman's team. 5:10 kickoff, that one, against Britain Ferry. And of course, a date for your diaries, the Adran Trophy final. That's going to be played at Bangor City FC on the 22nd of February. That's a 5 p.m. kickoff against arch rivals Cardiff City. So we'll certainly be looking forward to that one and building up to that a little bit nearer to the date. Exciting times for the women's team. First time into the Gennaro Adran Trophy final, Mia.
Yeah, really exciting. Trying to keep an eye on it on Sunday, and massive result against a team of Britain Ferry who've caused Wrexham women a lot of problems over the last couple of years, especially since they've gone into obviously that top tier, and a quite convincing result in the end, as you can see from the 6-0. A shame Rosie got sent off at the end. I think she'll be beating herself up over that one, because now she will miss the final. So that's a frustrating one. But final being played in Bangor, so a North Wales one finally for Wrexham. They don't have to trek down to Dragon Park, so I'm really excited for that one. I watched the Wrexham Cardiff game a few weeks back, and I know obviously they lost it in the sort of dying embers, but it was a tightly contested one. They certainly grew into it, and I think they'll fancy their chances, particularly with it being on North Wales turf.
And Andy, turning our attention to the FA Youth Cup, we were catching up with Gus Williams pre-match. For the under-18s on Thursday to head down to Southend, knowing that a victory could well give them an opportunity to make club history, because no Wrexham team have ever reached the 5th round of the FA Youth Cup, and if they can beat Southend, highly likely they're going to face Aston Villa in the 5th round. If you're an 18-year-old on that long bus journey down to Southend, how do you try and manage your excitement and your emotion to ensure you put out as good a performance as you would week in, week out, when the opposition and the occasion is perhaps not quite so enticing?
Well, I think these young lads, they can look at Max and they can look at Harry Ashfield ahead of them in the round of the first team and think, well, there's a pathway here for me, first and foremost. And so this is their next step. And can they create a bit of history? Because history's being created all the time at this football club. So can we create a bit of our own history? And that means taking the game as seriously, maybe speaking to a couple of the lads to understand what it is they need to do. They'll do it properly, I know that, because they'll spend the money on going down. They'll probably go down the night before, they'll stay over and all that type of thing. They've got to learn how to act when they're away and not just eat for fun and have sweets on the night, because that's what you tend to do because you're bored. And they'll have to then be professional with that and then just go into the game like it's any other game, but with that window, I suppose, at the end of it that you could just crawl through to go and play, because all they're played at the stadiums, right? Aren't they? The FA Youth Cups, they're played at the home stadiums.
Yeah, right? Aston Villa tend to use Bodymore Heath, which is their training ground, but whether they would use Villa Park for a last 16 tie, they might.
But it's still a brilliant opportunity.
When Wrexham comes to town, you certainly try to.
That's right.
You'd think so.
Hopefully.
You'd think so.
It's just a great opportunity for them all, isn't it? And Gus coming in and pushing, and these things are just another little step in the progress that this club's making.
And Craig Knight as manager, Mia, someone who's got huge experience to help guide, as Andy says, young players through an experience they might not have had before.
Well, again, I just think it's a massive statement, and so pleasing to see that, because I think over the last few years since the takeover, obviously focus has been here as it should be, but also to see the investment that's gone into the women's side, that's gone into the academy setup, and obviously the youth systems in place, because for how long has that been such a key part of this club? It's in the DNA, it's in the history that this club brings up its sort of own, doesn't it? It bleeds Welsh players, and what an opportunity to do that now and sort of take back a few of those years that maybe we lost to the likes of obviously Liverpool's, Man United, Man City's in our geography, that we now have a bit more control, a bit more say in for those young players coming up around this area.
We're hoping to get some reaction from one of the Wrexham players before we close Matchday Live tonight, but let's take the opportunity to have a look at the scores around the Championship this evening, because as ever there have been one or two eyebrow-raising results. In particular, Norwich City who you will see when we see all the results, have gone to West Bromwich Albion and scored 5. So Norwich, who were struggling a couple of games ago.
Not a bad result for us, a 2-1.
I was going to say, it gives it some context, Andy, doesn't it? Exactly, Saturday's outcome. Let's run through them. Charlton 1, Derby County 2. Charlton struggling at the moment. Coventry continuing to go so well, beating Millwall, who are right up the right end of the table. 2-1 there at the Rico. Ipswich, another solid win. They're looking ominously strong at the moment, beating Bristol City by 2-0. Saturday's opposition, QPR, drawing 0-0 at struggling Oxford, who drop into the bottom 3 tonight. Preston beaten at home by Hull City, who we spoke about a couple of weeks ago, that the Tigers might yet be one to keep an eye on in the playoff battle. 3-0 win for them at Deepdale. Another tough night for Sheffield Wednesday, whose relegation isn't mathematical yet, but all but. It's going to be a sad old second half of the season, you'd think, at Hillsborough. Wednesday beaten by Birmingham City by 2-0 at home. Swansea beating Blackburn by 3-1. Blackburn in all sorts of trouble at the wrong end of the table and struggling for any sort of momentum. And we've touched on Norwich's 5-0 thumping of West Brom at the Hawthorns. Goodness me, I don't think tonight, Andy, you'd have got too many people putting money on Norwich putting 5 past West Brom.
But it's amazing what one game in a season can flip your whole season. I know Norwich have been a lot better since the new managers come in, but the one result here where they find a way of, they play well and they find a way of winning the game. And you saw them when the keeper made the save. They're on him and they're platting him on the back, and they look like they're a bit more together than certainly they were when we played them down there. The fans are certainly now a little bit more behind them than they were. And then they go and do that to a West Brom side who's got a new manager as well. He'll be scratching his head and thinking,
Well, you know, think again about accepting this job. But moments can change seasons, Andy, can't it? That
Absolutely.
Save from Broadhead, you think if that goes in, it's 2-2. It's another game that so near but not been won.
Another
it's
point
only
on the
a
board.
Point,
yeah.
But suddenly there's a win. You've ended a team who've won 4 straight matches until that point and not been beaten at home in 4 months.
Yeah.
You then go and back it up like that. You're now out of the bottom 3 and all the momentum shifts.
Well, the manager can send a different message at the end of the game to his players. Look, you've gone to the form team and you've done it. You can do it to anybody in this league, and that message then, it lifts everybody and off you go, and maybe they might have a go on that run now and end up mid-table easily and pushing, because it's so tight, isn't it, that 4 wins on the spin and you're near the playoffs.
Well, they've got Coventry and Middlesbrough the next 2, the Canaries.
Maybe
so
not.
That's going to be a test for them. If they can put victories against those 2 into their column, then they'll be making a late run for the playoffs, I think, if that continues. But let's see. Interesting indeed. Let's have a look at the table then and see where it leaves us, because Wrexham, up until the last minute, were just goal difference away from making their way into position 6 in the playoffs, right on the coattails of Preston North End, who lost tonight. Wrexham there in 9th position on 41 points, a couple of points away from the edge of the playoffs, but still very much in the picture. Coventry out in front with that other victory tonight. Ipswich leapfrogging Middlesbrough into 2nd place, and that cup tie against Ipswich is going to be fascinating, Mia, isn't it? Because how much is Kieran McKenna going to prioritise it? When you're now in 2nd position in the league, how much do you really want to put your best team out in an FA Cup tie? It's going to be interesting.
Especially at a place like this as well. I'd be surprised if they do go full strength, to be honest. I know it's... You
think they will?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. That's
Indeed.
the other side of the coin, and obviously it falls on that weekend, doesn't it? Where it's not right in between a few games, so it's on a weekend off, if you like. It takes away obviously that Bristol game that would have been on the Friday night. But I mean, just looking at that league table and seeing Wrexham, still just, was it 2 points off Preston? I think same games played. You've just got to stay in there, and it's that one game swing that you win one game and you're right in it again.
Well, we've kick-started Derby's season. They've just won 2 off the back of us beating them, and then they're in 10th place behind us. Hull, I think, we've said it when we've played them. I thought they'd look great in both games, and we had the Ollie Palmer Cup game, didn't we, where he came on and scored a couple, but away from home I thought they were really good, and it caught us on an off day, yes, but I still thought that they cut us open quite easily. So they're certainly in the pack now, already probably looking at Ipswich and going, can we catch them?
It's going to be an interesting second half of the season. We're well into that second half, of course, and Wrexham have got a lot of home fixtures to come in February. QPR away this Saturday, then a trip to Sheffield Wednesday before Millwall come calling. Then it's the FA Cup tie with Ipswich on Friday, February the 13th, the same opposition in the league a week later. And here's Lewis O'Brien. Good to see you, Lewis. Thank you for coming to join us on Match Day Live. Well, I guess for you personally, that must be a bittersweet feeling tonight.
Yeah, it's really disappointing. It kind of feels like a loss. We played so well. To then get the draw like that it's very disappointing. We played probably one of the best performances of our season, and yeah, it's a tough one to swallow.
Is the dressing room quiet, or is there deep discussion about where that went wrong at the end?
A bit of both. I mean, we've got time to reflect. Well, not much time to reflect, but we will reflect on it. But yeah, it's quite a quiet changing room, because we know we worked so hard for them 3 points, and to let 2 of them slip like that is hard.
You showed a great instinct for your goal from close range. We've seen different types of goals from you in your Wrexham career to date. Lewis, just talk us through how that move developed and what was going through your mind as you took up your position.
Yeah, I mean, I've had quite a lot of chances in the games that I've been playing, and I haven't taken them all. But it's one of them things that I've said to myself this season. I've just got to try and make the box as much as possible, and sometimes you get them ones that just fall to you in a position to just pass it in, and luckily that happened today.
We saw you and Ollie Rathbone together at Blackburn playing off Sam Smith. Tonight, the two of you combining off Kiefer Moore. What's it like playing alongside Ollie in this double number 10 role?
Yeah, it's a new role for me. I've not played as an out-and-out number 10 like in my career. I'm normally further back but bring the energy. But yeah, I mean, it's nice to know that both of the 10s have so much energy to press and to put that pressure on the centre-backs, and we just know that we're always going to back each other up, and with Kiefer as the focal point on it, it seems to work.
And Lewis, I just want to go into back to the goals. I think it has been a long time coming. I think you're getting in those positions, and I saw your Instagram post a few weeks ago with your caption about shooting like a stormtrooper, and you can tell you've got that frustration, but we've been saying it a lot on commentary. It feels like one's going to go in and you're going to get that confidence. And I thought, your play after you got your goal, I thought you were brilliant, to come out in the second half anyway and in the first half. But particularly after that, I thought you just looked like about 10 feet taller.
Yeah, it was, not going to lie, it was a relief to get one. It's, yeah, my mate actually sent me that. I think someone put something on Twitter. I don't look at it, but my mate sent it. And I thought, if you don't take the mick out of it, it'll get on top of you. But yeah, it's tough because I'm not really known for scoring my goals, but when I'm getting the chances and I'm missing them, and the games that I was missing them in were close, we were drawing them or losing them, it was one of them ones where one of them has to go in, and then hopefully it's opened the floodgates for me.
Regardless of the goal, I thought without the ball, the team was really good and on the front foot, especially that second half. Is that something you want to bring when you're in the team? Is that front foot press that you go for from that 10 role?
Yeah, I feel like I'll just try and bring as much energy as I can, even if I'm not playing well. I'll just try and work as hard as possible for the team. And yeah, it's just one of them things where it's been hard to come by some minutes at the moment, and the team's so well. We've got so much squad depth. We went 5 in a row over the Christmas period. It's sometimes you've got to wait for that chance and just take it when you can.
Yeah, I thought your trigger when you were going, you were in a Coley's head, at times, because he just couldn't clear it past you, could he? You were just on him straight away, and I thought that was top draw because you were the trigger and the rest of the team was following you in.
Yeah. It's just what I try and bring to the team. It's one of them things that obviously the gaffer says to us as well. He pulled me and Ollie in and said, even at the Blackburn game, he just wants us to bring the energy and bring that. Because as soon as you get a few tackles, a few blocks, the crowd gets up, and then the whole team gets up, and that's really what we need. But we're definitely disappointed about the result.
Yeah.
Do you think, Lewis, there's a kind of championship style in the way that teams are playing? I mean, you've played in the Championship before, you've played in the Premier League before, clearly. Do you see a huge difference match to match, or do you see sort of commonalities in how a lot of the teams play?
I think it's very physical. You've got to win the battle first before you can play your football. Sometimes, when looking back on it, the Premier League was a bit easier on the ball. You get more time, but they'll punish you when you give it away, though, whereas here you can make the mistakes and learn from the mistakes, but it's so 100% tempo all the time. You don't really get time to settle, and it's one of them things where a lot of teams, especially this season, are quite direct, quite physical, whereas the last couple of seasons that I've been playing, there's always been a few standout teams that 80% possession, you can't get the ball off them, but there's a lot of teams now where you're 50-50, you can nick a game or you can lose a game in the last minutes.
Looking at QPR on Saturday, is that a ground you've done well at personally in the past?
I'm not actually too sure. I don't really remember my games that well. I think once they're done, you brush them under the carpet and you just keep going forward. It's a tough place to go. yeah, they play good football. Obviously, they came here and they beat us, unfortunately. But yeah, I think we're just going to come in Thursday and keep going.
And finally, as an ex-Forest man, you must have enjoyed scoring against Leicester.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the win against Forest a lot more. To be fair.
Touche.
Yeah, I don't really bother that much. I've not got any like hatred towards any teams more than the others. I think I just got to go out there and try my best, and if I score in the game, I score in the game.
Well, you certainly tried your best tonight, Lewis. Certainly one of the standout players for Wrexham. Congratulations on your goal, and all the best for the trip to Loftus Road on Saturday.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Cheers,
you,
guys.
Lewis. Thanks for
Thank
joining us. Lewis O'Brien joining us on Matchday Live this evening, picking up another Wrexham goal. Wrexham's number 27, quickest to react after Kiefer Moore's initial effort was blocked. Well, he certainly did himself no harm tonight, Mia, didn't he, in terms of reminding Phil Parkinson just what he can offer in that number 10 role.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, for me, it was a little bit of a surprise to see, you know, the amount of changes tonight, and particularly, you know, going both Rathbone and O'Brien. You know, we sort of spoke about it a bit before about how, you know, maybe that would be more your away from home sort of the two rather and have, you know, rather Windass and Broadhead more at home. I don't know if that sort of suits more, but no, I thought they were both brilliant tonight. I thought they were brilliant at Blackburn, and you know that was, you know, the first time we've obviously seen him with Kiefer Moore as well, and I thought those combinations worked really well. And you know, it's one word, it's energy, isn't it? And I think that perfectly describes the both of them. And you know, like I said to Lewis, I really hope now that does, you know, sort of, because like I say, he's getting in those positions, so you've got to think now that goal, I know it's from close in, but that's going to give him the confidence. You saw it. I think it was clear for all to see that what it gave him, you know, just following in the minutes after he found the back of the net, that, you know, that's going to keep coming now, hopefully, and that confidence, hopefully that just continues.
That kind of high press, high energy style that Lewis O'Brien brings, it's very much a trait that Phil Parkinson looks for, Andy, isn't it? If we look at the players that have shone as we've moved up through the league, someone like Elliot Lee as well, just that ability to run on both sides of the ball. He's the kind of player that I'm guessing a manager looks to in a dressing room to be able to give that momentum out on the park, however the game's going.
Yeah, and that triggers others because they're going. If you're not running,
you're leaving a gap.
Yeah, and you're looking like you're not doing anything. So I've got to run as well. And I remember Dele Adebola saying it about me. I ran, and he had, oh no, I've got to go. If I don't go, I'm going to look a mug here. And he does. He triggers it, and then the rest go, right, well, if he's going, I can go. I think Ollie Rathbone's the same, aren't they? They're both very, very similar in that how they give their whole body to the game. All of them have done themselves no harm at all today, and what Phil's doing is he's picking players for certain teams that we're playing against, I think, and I think we'll look at probably Broadhead down there at QPR on Saturday, and maybe Windass back in the team, just fresh legs and a bit of quality away from home to pick a hole in a tight game on a tight pitch.
And like we've said on Matchday Live many times, it's all about the squad, isn't it, this season? You've got to have strength and depth in the Championship. Some sides have got a bench who others would kill for, others less so. But Wrexham's method, seemingly for success, is about having that depth and those options. So we look forward to seeing whether there are more changes on Saturday or whether Phil goes again with a similar side to tonight. You both off to Loftus Road?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yes. Friday night, I think we're going down, aren't we, early? Or
yep.
London night out.
I've got a hotel. Kensington, I think.
Wow. Night out in Shepherd's Bush. Are you staying in Kensington?
I think so. I don't know. I don't know. Probably in a box somewhere.
The big smoke. Well, have a good time. Enjoy your trip to Loftus Road, one of the great football stadia in the UK. Well, a wet and windy night at the Stoke Kairas. A night for caggles and umbrellas, hats and gloves. It was never going to be pretty on the field of play. Wrexham, probably over the 90, deserved to shade it. But in the end, Leicester City reminding them that the Championship gives you no gifts and you have to play to the very last kick of the very last minute. All square in North Wales then. Wrexham head down to QPR on Saturday in search of more points. Please keep in touch through all the club's social media channels to follow that game. We're next here on Matchday Live on Saturday, February the 7th for the visit of Millwall. We're off to go and get dry. Diolch yn wylio, and we'll see you in February. Good night.